Welcome to Wide AF Podcast. You're joined by your hosts, Steph and Brandon. Today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Olympic Games and some of the athletes and sports that we want to be watching. So obviously, we're both really into weightlifting. So obviously, we want to watch the Olympic weightlifting. But there's also a couple of other sports and a couple of other athletes that we sort of want to keep our eyes out on and have a look at. And we think that you guys should look at too because they're really cool.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Steph and I are actually kind of a big deal. We actually know a few. We actually know a few of the people who are competing. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting, and it's just something we want to share and talk about, and just kind of, I guess, the Olympics has been swept under the rug from last year, so it's be a really good time just to do a bit of a discussion about that and share our thoughts and opinions with you guys.
Mm-hmm. So if you've been living under a rock for the last, little while, the Olympics are starting on the 23rd of July and they're going to the 8th of August. So hopefully this episode will come out actually just before. I'm going to make sure it comes out just before the Olympics start.
Yeah, rejig a few things.
Yep. And obviously it was moved from last year to this year, so 2020 to 2021. They're still calling it Tokyo 2020, which I guess they kind of have to, right? Thanks, COVID. So let's get into the first sport that we want to watch, which is weightlifting or Olympic weightlifting. They just call it weightlifting on the website, and that's, what we kind of call it. But people always get confused when we say weightlifting. I think they think that we're talking about like powerlifting.
Or bodybuilding,
Or bodybuilding, but weightlifting is Olympic weightlifting, which is what we do. Brandon, do you want to take us through what is Olympic weightlifting or weightlifting?
Yeah, Olympic weightlifting is the snatch and clean and jerk. So the two competition lifts that you'll do. It's different to any other time in the year when there's weightlifting because there's only one medal. So that's the kind of big deal in this spectacle about Olympic weightlifting at the Olympics is there's only one medal to be earned. So unlike where you're at Worlds or at other comps, there's 3 medals, one for the snatch, one for the clean and jerk, and then one for the total. For the Olympics, there's only one medal. So people will do lots of different tactics. They'll go, just because you're in front in the snatch, which is the first competition lift, doesn't mean you can win the whole competition because there's still the clean and jerks. And often whoever lifts the most in the clean and jerks, people will usually do like a clutch lift to win the total, which is the combined, your snatch and then your clean and jerk to combined will be the winner. And that's your total. You have 3 attempts in the snatch and 3 attempts in the clean and jerk, very similar to how all the comps that we do here are. And the best score, the successful lifts, the best of the successful lifts that you make from both attempts, from both the snatch and the clean and jerk, go towards your total. So it's pretty exciting to watch. But I never really, followed along until, I don't know, maybe the 2012 or the 2016 one. I don't know. Yeah, it's something that still, a lot of people have heard about weightlifting probably from CrossFit, but not many people have heard about weightlifting from the Olympics.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool sport to watch if anyone's ever watched it. It's very impressive. Like, it's a very powerful sport. We obviously talk about it a lot, but the weight ratio to the weight lifted is insane because some of the best lifters or some of the best athletes are the smallest ones, and they just put so much weight over their head. And it just shows you that obviously it's a strength sport, but also you need to have amazing technique. You need to have really good power as well. And it's definitely like they look really fit, some of the small lifters.
They're jacked. They're ripped.
They're insane. They're so fit and strong. So it's really impressive to watch in that regards too, because you see these little people lifting heaps of weight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's even, I think it's something as well with the Olympics is people will see it and they'll go, oh, that looks so easy. It doesn't look that hard. But they make it look so easy because they are elite and they are professionals at their sport, and that probably goes for all the sports.
Exactly, yeah. So something interesting about weightlifting, which you might notice when you watch it, if you watch it on the games, is that the bar is always increasing in load. So that means that the order of lifters is constantly going to change. And that's how weightlifting comp works anyway, is that the order of the lifters is just constantly changing. So you have to work around the weight that's on the bar. The other thing too is that the lifters can always change their attempt to go up in weight, but they can't go back down. So say, for example, it's me and Brandon in a competition. Brandon might be snatching 150 kilos and I might be snatching 100 kilos. That's not going to happen. But then if I decide I want my first attempt to now be 151, then Brandon would go first rather than me going first. So he would do 150 and I'd do 151 next. And then if he then wants to go to 155, then he's the next lifter. If he then
goes back and forth.
Yeah, so that we would change the order rather than the weight. So the weight on the bar will determine the lifter order. That makes sense.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, you only got 3 attempts. Also, if you don't get a snatch attempt, then you cannot progress to clean and jerks. So if you fail your first 3 lifts in the snatches, that's it, you're out. Like you can't total. So you have to get one of your snatches and then you have to get one of the clean and jerks so that you can total. And the total weight is the snatch and the clean and jerk combined. So your best snatch and your best clean and jerk. And then that is basically like your score, if you want to look at it like that, is your total, which is your score.
And often it gets really exciting because of that rule.
Yeah.
People, you think they would play it conservative, but obviously not. With it being at the Olympics, you can get people and they'll show what the person's PB is, or the commentators they'll know what the person's PB is. And there's some lifters that will open well above their PB for their first attempt, which is extremely risky. And some of them bomb out, and some of them they don't post a total, and that's it. They go home with nothing. But yeah, so it's pretty intense.
It's a bit of a game as well. Like the coaches will change the weights sometimes to screw other lifters. So like if they don't want to give another lifter much rest, then they'll change their attempt to go up, and like they can actually make it really competitive in that sense too. So it's not just like the lifter chooses their weight. It's usually the coach that chooses the weight and can like stuff up other lifters' attempts essentially.
Yeah. It's pretty much like chess.
It kind of is. It's very strategic. Yeah, very interesting. I'm going to give you guys some fun facts now, which I found on the Olympic website, which was pretty cool. So women were only first included in the games for weightlifting in Sydney 2000, which is actually really recent. It's only in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
which
I found
is
that
crazy.
really hard to believe. But obviously, I can't believe I didn't know that.
Yep. Some of the best lifters, which we kind of already know this anyway, are the Chinese and the Russians. So we kind of already knew that anyway. But another fun fact is that China's women, they've won 14 out of 35 gold medals since Sydney 2000. So they let the women in 2000 and then they won 14 out of 35 medals, which is insane. So yeah, like really, really strong. And then 2 of the top lifters in the world that they have on the website as well to let you know about is Lasha. He's one of the guys. He's one of the top male athletes. So he's in the 105 plus kilo category. They've now changed the weight categories.
109
So it's 109 plus, but when it was 105 plus, he was the best. So Lasha Talakidi from Georgia, he snatched 215 and he clean and jerked 258 kilograms. And then so he won the gold, and he also has a world record total of 473 kilos. Which is insane.
Yeah, since then he's clean and jerk 270. So we'll be really interested to see what happens.
And then the best female, or one of the best females, I should say, is Lydia Valentin. She's from Spain. She won silver in 2008, gold in 2012, bronze in 2016, and now she's competing in her 4th Olympics in the women's 75 kilo category, which is very cool. She's awesome.
Which is a very long career for a weightlifter as well, to go to 4 Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty crazy. And then obviously some of Australia's weightlifters. So we're from Australia. Those of you guys who listen from overseas, you can probably tell anyway. But some of the weightlifters, Brandon's actually competed against some of these guys. And one of the girls actually, I've competed against her. So we've got Brandon Wakeling in the 73 kilo male, Charisma Amoe Tarrant in the female. They don't have her weight class on there, but I think she's the heavyweight for females. Erika Yamasaki, 59 kilos. She was the first woman in Australia to clean and jerk double body weight, which is pretty amazing. Kiana Elliott, she's in the 64 women's. And then Matthew Litterman in the 109 kilo males.
Yeah, I remember competing against Matthew when we went to Brisbane in 2018, and I think he only snatched around 140 back then. I think it was like his first time snatching 140, and that was the year that I won the junior nationals.
That's right. Yeah.
And then and I don't know if he won I think he came second at the senior nationals, and he snatched 140, and now he snatches around, I think it's like 167. He has this Australian record.
Yeah.
But so you can see 4 years later, you just got to do your time. You just got to keep training.
Keep training, be consistent, do your time. It's one of those sports that takes so long to put weight on the bar. So, when you see these top level athletes, they've put years and years and years into this training. Yeah.
100%.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about for the weightlifters?
No, I just, this is the most amount. Well, when we look at last, I think it was the Rio 2016, when we look at those ones, they only sent 2 people to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so they haven't sent this many since 2000.
Yep.
So it's going to be really exciting. Obviously, we can watch more than just Tia and I think it was Francois or another.
Yeah.
I think that's who went 4 years ago.
Yep.
So it's going to be awesome to see that there's so many people, and then I think there's 3 or 4 of them are from Queensland.
Yeah,
so,
most of them are from Queensland, from Cougars Weightlifting Club.
Yeah, so it's awesome to see that there's so many people that we've competed against and been alongside, and now they get their turn at bit of glory.
Exactly.
That's
Good for
awesome.
them. I love that. The second sport that we're really interested in, and I guess this is because we spoke to one of the Olympians on our podcast, is the diving. So Melissa Wu is our probably favourite athlete.
Favorite athlete ever now.
Yeah, well, she's my favourite athlete.
She likes all my Instagram posts.
Yeah, she's so cool. So yeah, Melissa Wu, she is a diver. This is her 4th Olympic Games as well. And if you haven't listened to our podcast where we talked to her and her brother Josh, Josh unfortunately isn't going to the Olympics, but Mel
Not
is.
Yet.
She's going to her 4th. Exactly, not yet. It's fingers crossed for Josh. Please go and check out that episode. So listen to that chat with them. They're really down to earth people. They're so lovely, and she's achieved some amazing things. So yeah, definitely go and check that one out. But yeah, so Melissa Wu, she's an athlete in the diving. She competes in the platform diving and synchronized diving, from what I believe and read. She's won a silver medal before at Beijing 2008 Olympics, which is pretty amazing. 2018, she won a gold in the Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast. She's also been to the Rio 2016 Olympics, London 2012 Olympics, Beijing 2008. And yeah, she's pretty awesome.
Yeah, this is going to be her 4th. That's nuts.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And
Yeah.
the thing that with Mel is how down to earth she is. And yeah, we were still so lucky that we got to have the opportunity to talk to her and interview her. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's not really, too many things I can talk about her all day, but yeah, I don't know. She's such a nice person. So it's awesome that, she's going to get to go for her 4th time. And obviously diving, I don't know if you would think it, but it's very, very hard on the body, and she's battled lots and lots of injuries, and it's amazing just to have such a long career to be able to do that. Is a testament to how good of an athlete she is.
Exactly. So a couple little fun facts about diving. Again, I'm actually not very good at knowing much about the rules of diving, so this is just what I Googled. But with the diving, you have to complete a number of rotations before you hit the water, and it's supposed to be a smooth entry into the water, which we can probably all guess that anyway. When you see it and there's no splash, that's a good dive, apparently. So that sounds pretty straightforward. But I think so with the diving, it's either 5 or 6 attempts. Then they take the best score of that 5 or 6. It depends if it's platform diving, which is the 10 meter, or the springboard. So the springboard, they can jump a lot higher, so they can usually get more rotations because they get that extra air time. Whereas the platform diving, they don't get the springboard to jump any higher. And then interesting fact I was reading on the Olympic website was that because of the differences on the springboard and the platform, usually you have different looking athletes. So for example, on the platform with the divers, they're usually shorter and more powerful. So I guess it crosses over in weightlifting, like the shorter, powerful weightlifters are the better ones. It's the same with diving as well for platform. And then on the springboard, they said that they're usually taller and leaner. I don't know how true this is. It's just what the website told me. But so that's kind of cool.
Thanks, Dr. Google.
Yeah. And then so also they said that with the diving, usually 2.5 to 3.5 rotations is like the standard of what you should be hitting. And then the Chinese divers, they're one of the best group of divers. And they set the standard at 4.5 rotations with almost no splash a few years ago. So yeah, the levels are just getting like better and better, which is crazy.
It's funny. For some reason, I've always watched the diving.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's always been on.
It's interesting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And then you look at it and you're like, I think that was good. That was a good one. And then they give like 6 or something. It's like, I don't know what I'm looking at then. Yeah, they all look good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like gymnastics. I watched that. I'm like, I think that looks good. And then they're like, no, that's not good.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it shows the nuance of the sport and how, that's not our profession. We're not experts in diving.
No. Yeah, cool. So check out that podcast with Mel. Really cool. The final sport that I wanted to chat about as well is Taekwondo, because I used to do Taekwondo.
Why is that? Oh, you used to do it.
Obviously, I wasn't a top level athlete, but yeah, I used to compete in Taekwondo, and it's a martial art from Korea. And the one that they have in the Olympics is the full contact sparring one. So basically you kick and hit your opponent and you score points for kicking them. The more fancy the kick and the more head kicks you do, the more points you get. So if you just do a body shot and it's not very fancy, you just get like 1 or 2 points. But if you turn around and you kick them in the head, then you get a lot more points. Headshots and more points.
There is a video of you, and I have to find it again. I don't know where it is now.
It's really bad quality on
Doesn't
Facebook.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we have to find it again. And it's of you kicking a girl in the head, and then the comps are over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you get a knockout, or if they start counting and the person looks really out of it, then that's it. Like they count that as a knockout.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a good video. So we have to dig that up so you guys can see Steph kick someone in the head.
So I guess I'm really interested in this, obviously, because I've done the sport, but also one of the guys that's going to the Olympics, it's his first time going, and I used to train with him and his 2 sisters. So Jack Martin, it's his first time going to the Olympics. Really, really good athlete, lovely person as well. His sister, Carmen Martin, she's been to the Olympics, I think 3 times already. She's the first world champion from Australia as well. So she won world championships a few years ago. Her sister, Caroline, is also amazing. She had a couple of knee reconstructions and she came back, and I think she went to the Olympics as well once. So just the whole family is amazing and have done amazing things and done a lot with the sport. But yeah, so Jack's competing in that under 80 kilo category. He's won gold at the 2015 and 2019 Pacific Games, and he'd be a really good one to watch as well. It's a pretty exciting sport, especially when they do all the head kicks and the spinning around.
Yeah, there seems like there's so much skill involved, and we're seeing a lot of Instagrammers go to boxing and change to that and bring popularity to that. But obviously, there's sports like Taekwondo and even judo and stuff like that still staying in the dark, but they're really, really technical, and they're extremely they're extremely technical, and you have to be a very explosive athlete. And obviously that served you really well when you changed to weightlifting. We'd do broad jumps in the gym, and Steph would beat me, she'd beat me on broad jumps, and she's half the size of me. And you can see, just like the training from what you've done, being so explosive has obviously stayed with you. But it's, amazing to see these athletes, how much power they can generate, spinning back kicks and whatnot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, they are our athletes and sports that we want to watch in the upcoming Olympics.
Yeah, hopefully they're on at a good time. Tokyo's not too far from our time zone, so hopefully we'll be able to watch some of the stuff. But yeah, we're interested to know, what do you guys want to look at? What do you guys want to see? You don't say you want to see just the 100-meter sprint, because that's all that's in the Olympics.
There are new sports in too. They brought in skateboarding and rock climbing.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't you know that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there's new sports now. Yeah, there's climbing and skateboarding, and there's something else.
This year?
Yeah, they are. They're new for this year. So
they're trialing it, maybe.
I think it's great.
They're on
Bring more
probation.
exposure.
No, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skateboarding. Even there's the BMX. I'm pretty sure there's some really good Australians in the BMX. Like the downhill sprint. I think there's like a downhill sprint where
cool. Okay.
they do lots of jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's all.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please share it on your stories, or send us a message if you have any questions or anything you want to see in coming up episodes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Bye.